Welcome to the Everyday Matters podcast, a show from Netsmart. Everyday Matters is about the opportunity we have to make a difference. Our collective, cause-connected mission is about impacting healthcare in meaningful ways. We seek to provide a place to share stories about the progress being made, how to overcome challenges, and ideas to inspire. Each conversation is about the work being done and the opportunity before us. Whether it's about advocacy, awareness, or challenging stigmas, we know that together anything and everything is possible. Let's get into the show where we learn from yesterday in pursuit of tomorrow. Here, we all work to ensure every day matters.
Well, welcome, everybody, and thanks for joining us today. This is really going to be Podcast Zero, an introduction into our Everyday Matters. And many of you have had the opportunity to hear on our Netsmart podcast as we speak to the intersection of technology and the communities we serve and the amazing work that our clients are doing. And this podcast really speaks to our 501c3. We call it Everyday Matters. And this was started almost 10 years ago out of a passion to serve cause and community. Some of you may have heard our mantra. It's vision-driven, cause-connected, passionate about opportunity and obligation. And it's that cause-connected portion that we believe is so fundamental to aligning us in everything we do. In all personas, our vocational work and our community work, at homes, as friends, as colleagues. And this podcast, this series of podcasts, is going to do just that. And I have with me two guests today, Julie Hiett and Wendy Hill, and we're going to just talk a little bit about Everyday Matters. Julie, really, you've been with Everyday Matters now for many years now. I mean, ever since you've joined Netsmart, you've been a part of it. You want to talk a little bit about what your role is, and then we'll introduce Wendy as well.
Sure, absolutely. So my role with Everyday Matters is really the associate face of Everyday Matters. So helping communicate out to our associates what Everyday Matters means, and then also creating opportunities for volunteering, et cetera. And then finally connecting with the community. So it's not only internal to Netsmart, but external to Netsmart as well. So what are those opportunities to be cause connected in our community? And then as we have folks that are asking for donations or have a cause connected reason for needing some funding of some sort, then we look at that from an associate and a company perspective to make sure it aligns and kind of check the box that we have everything covered there. So that's my role with EDM day in and day out.
And Julie, what did you do before Netsmart?
So before Netsmart, it feels like a lifetime ago, I was a social worker. So I was direct service and a community mental health center, two of them in Kansas, actually, at the beginning and the end of my direct service. So for me, it was very hard to leave direct service. So I felt like I was selling out in some ways. And so it's always been important to me to stay connected to that cause, because the things that social workers and folks that are doing direct service, they are killing it every single day and doing an awesome job. And sometimes it's a thankless job. So always tying what we do at Netsmart to the people that are using our solutions, and more importantly, the people that they serve.
And what are you doing now at Netsmart?
So today I am our Senior Director of Population Health. So really looking at care coordination, crisis management, looking at a population and identifying those in need. So there's lots of different avenues with that, and I love every day. Every day is a little different.
Yeah, you do phenomenal work in making a big difference. And Julie, I don't think you're selling out. I think that you have found a way to create a great bridge to make sure that we stay focused on what's most important. And I enjoy all of our conversations because you've been such a great sounding board for me and so many others. So thanks for being here today. Wendy, how long have you been at Netsmart now? It seems like forever, but I know it's not been that.
I didn't know what you were going to say there, but it will actually be 3 years in February, which is crazy, just in a month. So I'm just shy of 3 years now.
Well, that's amazing. It's hard for me to even fathom the time that you've not been here. You've done so many great things, you and your team. on the culture and talent side, just so instrumental in keeping us aligned to the things that we want to be. And I think culture and our goals and vision, they're aspirational. None of us feel like we've arrived or we've made it there. And your team does such a great job in helping us really keep the most important things really at the top of mind and heart. And I guess I'll ask you that is, so you've been here for 3 years. What does Everyday Matters and kind of cause connection and those things mean to you?
Well, I think, one thing that was always really important to me is ensuring that I was working at a location that was cause connected, that gave back to the community, and that served really important industries, which we do. Another important part of an aspect kind of my role is ensuring that all of our associates feel some kind of purpose at work. That is a major driver of engagement for associates, and having Everyday Matters and ensuring that people understand what they do and how it connects to industries, to community, to cause is a really important way of ensuring you have an engaged associate base, which associate experience is the biggest part of my role in making sure that we are doing a stellar job.
Yeah, and I think, Wendy, I'm grateful for what you guys have done because it's been a reminder, while vocation is a big part of who we are, it's not the only thing. And the opportunity to marry some of the things that we're very passionate about, giving back to the community and volunteering, and having that also complement the things that we do in our vocational role is huge. I'm just going to ask you guys a couple of questions. We're going to keep this podcast short today. That's why we're calling it Podcast Zero. It's mainly an introduction. And we didn't prescribe this, as I don't think we ever do. So I'm just going to pitch you both on the spot. Julie, be the difference. Kind of a hashtag that we've used. What does that mean to you?
So be the difference to me means taking every day and making a difference in some way. It doesn't have to be some big, elaborate thing, but it's being kind to somebody. It's patting somebody on the back, having a coffee, even texting somebody that you know is having a hard time. I know this time of year is hard for people. It's dark, it's dreary, it's hard to go out in the world. It's much easier to wrap yourself up in a blanket and stay at home. And so I think it's the reaching out and making a difference that way. So it doesn't have to be a big thing for me. It just needs to be every day doing something intentional to help somebody else.
I love that. I mean, I'm just going to borrow that word from you. It's being intentional. It's We can assume many things are happening or not happening. We don't know until we're intentional around it. Just picking up. I had someone just yesterday, call me, and they began the conversation. Tom, I don't need anything. You don't need to call me back. I'm not asking for anything. I just want to let you know I was thinking about you and that I wanted to see how you were doing. And I thought, wow, that doesn't happen very often.
Right.
And what was odd is that phone call caused me to say, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to pay it forward and do that with someone else. So I think it's those little things. And if anything that we've learned over the past couple of years, not to take assumption that we are, and I'll use all the fancy hashtags and buzzwords, that we are in this together. We are better together to be the difference. And I couldn't agree with you more, Julie. Wendy, Everyday Matters. What is that? That's an odd name for an organization. What does that mean to you? And how have you shaped that into your daily life?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It kind of piggybacks directly off of what Julie said. I mean, every day matters. Every little thing that we do on a daily basis matters. And our ability to be intentional around the things that we do for our associates, for our community, for our families, and all the relationships that we have, we can't take it for granted. So as we think about, and since I've started at Netsmart and really thought about the mission and cause of Everyday Matters, how do you play that out into your everyday life? Again, not just at your job, but in all different aspects of your life. And that's, we are really intentional as a company too, of providing those everyday matter days. We want people to be back into the community. We want them to spend a minimum of 16 hours out in the community thinking about what is important to them on a daily basis and how can they give back. And I think the term Everyday Matters and the wording that we used, words matter, we're very intentional. And we do believe that every day there's something that you need to do to be intentional about and that it matters to the community.
Well, and I have my Everyday Matters bracelet right here. And one of the things, I mean, it's a reminder when I look down, and I think we're so reactionary in today's world that it is a reminder we can be the good, we can be the kindness. We have the opportunity to help someone else. So, Wendy, I hear a couple of future podcasts in there that we need to talk about the things that we're doing to volunteer. But we'll save that for another time. I know one of the things that we're really passionate about is mental health first aid. And, it's something Julie and I've been connected with for many years. You've been connected with it since you've been here. What has it meant to you?
I love the mental health first aid aspect. I was fortunate enough within probably the first year that I started, I got to be trained by Julie. And it is such an awesome opportunity and a way that I now have skills that I didn't necessarily have before to watch for signals and triggers for associates that might be in need, or friends that might be in need, or family members that might be in need. And the fact that, probably over a third to a half of our associates already have that training, and we're continuing to educate more. We've increased our facilitators. So it's such an opportunity for us to give back to the community and really make an impact across Netsmart.
Yeah, I think it's you nailed it. And I think it's often people don't always understand, well, what does that mean? Do I have to be a professional? Is it going to ask some requirement of me? And you just said it well. No, it's just giving you the tools, the knowledge, and the resources in everyday life. And the reality is, more of us are likely to come across a person in need around something around mental health and wellness than that first aid merit badge I took when I was a Boy Scout. And it could be someone grieving or struggling in a time, and the right word in the right way, and being able to connect them to the resources can be a difference maker. Julie, I
Yeah.
remember
Can I add something to that, Tom? So there's a couple of things that I think are important there. So one, I know whenever I teach, I always say, I want you to look at the world a little differently. I think after this training, you will see the world a little differently. You will notice words matter. You will notice how the media portrays mental illness and things of that nature. So sometimes people do walk in thinking, oh, I already know something, or I'm not really going to have to use this type of thing, because they're scared. It's not because they don't want to be helpful, but they're scared. So I think, Woody, you hit it, is that you learn how to make a difference, and you notice signs that you may not have noticed previously. I also think, based off the feedback that we've gotten, is that people notice things in themselves. So it's not just with others, but really identifying, hey, I kind of feel like that, or I can notice some things. So I think that's been really great. And it's also had some unintended consequences. So we've had associates that have said, I stopped smoking it. Like, I really did some reflection. I stopped smoking. I've lost weight. I've reached out to somebody that, seems strong, but there was something there. So it really is not just about mental health. It's really all the different aspects that come along with that. So really appreciate the opportunity for us to offer that, both as to our associates and to the community when we have an opportunity to.
Well, we're fortunate. You're an instructor. We have other instructors here, and we're really fortunate to have some great instructors who volunteered their time and who have put in the work to help guide us forward. Julie, I remember when Mike Valentine, our CEO here, said, hey, we're going to offer mental health first aid training to everyone in the company. And that's outside of the couple of days that we give on the volunteer. If someone wants to be trained, and now we're offering some other courses, and now we're over 1,000 people that we've trained, not just within the company, but the community. What are some of the key takeaways of things that you've learned or surprised you or encouraged you, Julie, through this training process? Because you and the team have been instrumental in making that happen, and we couldn't have done it with our own associates saying, hey, I'll volunteer. I want to step forward and train.
Right. So I think it gives us an opportunity to see our coworkers a little differently, in a different light. So oftentimes we see maybe leadership or somebody that reports to us in a different manner. And when you get into mental health first aid, we're all the same. We're all trying to learn. We're all trying to really understand what's happening in the world around us and identify how that impacts what we do every day in work. So that's been really cool to see, someone in executive leadership with someone that's just started at Netsmart maybe and working together on a project or, one of those little exercises within mental health first aid. So it really is the great equalizer. We always say mental health impacts everybody. It doesn't matter what you do in the world.
Yeah.
And so that's always been really cool. And people learn or meet other people that they may not work with at Netsmart. So that's also been great to kind of see departments working together and collaborating too.
Yeah, I think, as both of you have mentioned, we really are addressing stigma. And the good news is that used to be the focal point, but I really feel like we've moved beyond that now. And stigma still exists. I'm not saying we're there, but it's much more of a comfortable conversation. And if there's some good that's coming out of the last couple of years and the challenges that we've had as a society beyond the pandemic, it's understanding the role that mental health and wellness plays in all aspects of our life. I'm really encouraged. I think it's been awesome to be able to be a part of that, a small part of it. That's smart. We're just doing our part. Every day we wake up, we serve our communities, and being able to do this is a big deal. So Wendy, we'll talk about it in the future, but I know you're working on some pretty big ideas that you have to go make an even bigger impact in the community. Is that true?
Absolutely. We're always looking for opportunities to give back. And there are some things coming up where we get to, we'll get a chance to talk about it. But
I try to tease those out of you, and I know you're holding back. So I guess we'll save it for another podcast. I was going to see how much you'd be willing to tell, but I guess that's the teaser that we're sharing with everyone is we got some exciting things to announce coming up here, team effort, and it's going to, I think, really challenge all of us, how we can be the change and the good that we seek that's out there and in the role that we play. So Wendy, Julie, anything else before we land here? Any other thoughts and words of encouragement that you want to tell our audience on why they might want to give this podcast a listen?
I just think that every day matters. And I think as much as we can continue to push that messaging out and everybody taking it kind of like we've mentioned before, intentional and being intentional every day, if we can make that spread throughout the community, then we've done a lot of good work.
And I would add to that, it's the little things that matter the most. So sometimes you think that it's not impactful and it can be, and we see it every day. So, being the difference and making a small impact can make a large change in someone.
Well said by both of you. And thank you to everyone for joining us on Podcast Zero today, our introduction into our Everyday Matters as we share the stories and the ideas and thoughts and the positive disruption that we're trying to create a ripple of good in the society. And just a reminder, the good and the difference we seek always begins within. And today, right here, right now, is an opportunity to make every day matter. Thank you for joining us.
You've been listening to Everyday Matters, a Netsmart podcast. Keep connected with us by subscribing to the show in your favorite podcast player. If you like what you've heard, please rate the show. That helps us keep sharing the stories that inspire our communities. Thanks for listening. Until next time.